Let's try to look at the difference between static websites or static websites versus dynamic websites. What could be the difference between the two? Static websites, these are websites that are just the way you look at them, they don't change. So what are those definite items that you may have to see when you open a dynamic website? Or when it comes to static website, these sites, they don't change. They are like just forms, or they're like your book. They don't keep changing. But dynamic, they have some good features in them, for instance cookies and others, as we are going to keep looking at them. uh, One of the item is what we call Marquee. Dynamic Marquee or dynamic web pages or websites have Marquee, though static don't have, or they don't have any movement. If you've been watching TVs nowadays, there are those words that keep moving down. They are going to the right or to the left according to the programming of the particular TV station. Those are what we call Marquee. In a dynamic web page, you may have to create those marquees, movement of words. They could be adverts and others. They are not changing, but they keep repeating, they keep moving down onto the screen. Those are what we call marquee. So in dynamic web pages or websites, expect to see more of those marquee developed very well in onto the website. Then another item will be onto the dynamic websites. They have what we call animated photos. Photos are animated, or dynamic has animated photos. The photos may not be static like the ones that you see right now. These ones, they don't change. But the dynamic websites, they tend to show up like 10 photos being aligned in the same box. They keep changing one by one. For instance, when you go to ATM, automated machines, to withdraw money, you will see that adverts of those particular banks. When you're using your phones, the phones mainly Android smartphones, the adverts, the same place is embedded with the 10 photos. They just keep changing. At When it comes to static web pages, they don't have changing photos. The photos will be there like a calendar. They don't change, they don't have any movement they make. So that is another feature. In two dynamic databases, we tend to look at what we call interactive question and answer. You enter into something, the computer system will reply. So into the dynamic development of website, we look at even dynamic databases, the databases that have, in fact, they may even have frequent asked questions. You use either SQL or Oracle to develop these website, maybe even PHP and other interactive uh, applications. In here, in the dynamic uh, website, the databases will even be prompt, they will even react to you. You enter, they send you back the feed. They may even ask you also questions so that you fill in case you have left a page that is not well fed, it will show you that this page must be fed with information to proceed. So those are dynamic website. When it comes to static, you may just allow entries. The computer system or the web page may allow you to enter, not retrieving data at a times. Registration forms, you just submit your information, then you go. You may not have a lot to interact with the system or to ask the computer system. Another issue into the dynamic web development, we'll look at links. Or hyperlinks might be active when a mouse over, when you move a mouse, or when a mouse is off, or when it comes to that particular place where the link is, the link becomes active. So that is a dynamic set of activity. Mouse movements in a dynamic website may react with maybe a voice, may call for something to appear onto the site or onto the web page. So those are features on dynamic website. When it comes to links may show up after a moving of a mouse. Again, on static pages, here mainly links are ever present and visible. They do not change. They don't change. You will go straight to that particular place knowing that this place has a link. But in dynamic, you may be moving, something happens, or a link may show up, or a ring may come up, or any sound. So that is another definite difference. Then into the static web pages are often light. They take little storage. Uh, but when it comes to dynamic web pages, they tend to be bulky because they have a lot of nitty-gritties behind the page. You have a lot of things that are inbuilt into the computer system, or no, into the web page. That web page has a lot of graphics and it is embedded with other programs. So that embedment of with other program, the link between, for instance, if you have built a dynamic website, you will find that it has been built in a different program, but you have added PHP, you have added SQL, you have added Access, Oracle, and other. So it's not one. It's not one page, one program that you have used. It could not be just uh, multimedia application. It could even call for other programming languages to be added. So dynamic websites tend to be very bulky in nature compared to static web pages. We have a lot still onto our channel. You can visit Northbridge Technologies for more of these tutorials, mainly ICT tutorials for now, mainly for beginners, but we keep upgrading. You can keep searching Northbridge Technologies for your favorite and easy steps in learning ICT. I will continue having dynamic hosts, a lot of artificial intelligence. In dynamic development of website or dynamic web development, we tend to look at artificial intelligence. In here, there are some fields that you need to first uh, uh, enter to proceed onto that particular page, or there are things that you don't have to jump, or there are areas that are too strict that you don't have to go there. So in here we may call for voice recognition, we may call for fingerprint detection and smell detectors onto our web pages. So here, because dynamic websites are mainly financial and too much of ethical, so you need to have a lot of artificial intelligence to block people that may be furious or that may not be allowed to act accordingly. So onto dynamic web pages, we expect a lot of artificial intelligence compared to static. Static may not even show up any artificial intelligence in its development and its functionality. Then dynamic websites use a lot of cookies. Yeah, this one also brings up the issue of bulkiness. Cookies, these are items that, for instance, you want to type Kyle. The moment you type KA, no, the moment you type CA, uh, other words will come that may have the same. In case you want to type emulates, when you type EMI, even other words that may be of the same writing will appear. So those are cookies, which are not visible in a static websites. Static websites, cookies mainly not used, may not even show up. So today, as we keep diverting and advancing into the technologies, dynamic websites are mainly used to carry out different, to be interactive and to look more professional and according to the needs of today. You may find that one application is used to sell tariffs or to correct tariffs. The same application is used to show up traffic. Same application is used to pay for the bank dues. So all these call for dynamic web development, which has the features that we have talked about briefly. We can end here for now. Thank you for visiting our YouTube channel. You can check more of these and other applications concerning the introduction and the growth of ICT fields. So we have a lot of tutorials that talks about ICT works and studies. For now, we can end there.